Good morning, everybody. Basic Eric here. And looky here, we have water in our seasonal creek. So here in Northern California, we actually got enough rain that the creeks are starting to flow again. So that's sweet. But today, we are back on the Camaro. It's this weekend we're supposed to get anywhere from like 2 to 8 inches of rain in this area, which is pretty crazy. So fingers crossed that the drought's behind us. We're back to our normal rain patterns again. I'm here at the house. I have a rain gauge at the house, and we're what are we up to now? I think 13 inches of rain already this year, which is pretty good. Year before last, I think for the whole year we got 8, so that's not bad. Anywho, I'm rambling, but I'm excited to see water. As I said, back on the car. I don't really know what we're gonna do today. Just exchanging messages with Swilling and talking about that. You kind of get stuck sometimes figuring out what to do and get distracted by things, and rain, for instance. There's just a bunch of places in here I need to do things. I'm not quite sure what to attack. I've got to get this deck lid sorted out. I got to do the fiberglassing on these guys. The roof here, quarter panel over there. What I think well, anyway, one of the things I mentioned in the last video was that the new filler panel that we got really didn't fit right because that hinge is too high right here. And so I'm still debating in my mind if I want to cut this hinge out and put the new hinge in the lower location such that the filler panel will fit. This filler panel, which is the one that came on the car, does fit, but it is too high right here, and I can't really mash it down anymore, but it at least lines up on the side, so it's not the end of the world. But I'm still not happy with that. But that, that's big surgery, and I already fixed the issue where the deck lid was too high by cutting the brace part of or the mounting part of the hinge to get this lower, and then now I have to go cut the whole hinge out. So I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about that. So I don't know if you can see this here when this thing's down, how high that is there. Yeah, I think you can see that, and you just can't push it down any lower. And you compare that to the other side here, and it sits down a lot better. But choices. Anyway, my dad's on his way over. I guess we'll talk about things and decide what to do from there. All right, so we decided to go ahead and take that hinge off, and I'm glad we did, because this is what we found under it. So it clearly looks like it had been, when they patched it before, this was the pieces here. You can see there's we didn't pull these welds out here when we did this. It doesn't look like. So it looked like it was like that, and they just buggered that right over the top of it and just left it. And this is really ugly back in here. So remember, there was a hole here that I had to patch, and I was always wondering why there was a hole right there. This whole thing was all trashed here. So now I just have to decide what I want to do. Luckily, when I got the replacement hinge, I got all the metal around it, so I can patch these things out. The debate was just really, do I just take that whole piece of metal with everything, cut all of this out, and put a new one in? I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to patch these areas that are damaged here, and then put the new hinge on top of that. I think what we're going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and try and figure out how to get this stuff out of here without obliterating everything. Alright, we'll show you where we ended up. So I cut these 2 side pieces out where the old hinge was mounted, and everything in there was pretty rusty. You can see there were holes in there, so it was just pretty trashed. So I ended up just cutting this whole piece out here, so that drop the new one in, just do that instead of patching that and then welding the hinge in and everything. So that's a pretty good fit there. We test fit the filler panel. I think it's going to be okay. We put the deck lid on there to see. Seems like that's going to be okay. So when we're ready to do this, we'll tack this in and then put the trunk lid on and hopefully make sure it all fits. One of the problems, I don't know if I showed this earlier, the bottom of this thing, when the guy cut it off the car, he just obliterated it and had all these big gashes in it. So I had to weld all that up, which looks horrible. This is the back side, so it doesn't really matter. But the tricky part was trying to clean out all that stuff in there. I did the best I could. I mean, I could keep working at it, but it's gonna, I have to use that little belt sander, and it, you know, when it slips off the thing you're trying to do, it ends up grinding into the metal next to it. So I cleaned it up pretty good, and then ended up with a bunch of pinholes. So I'm not gonna work on it too hard. You know, when it's on the car, unless you come down low like this, you're not going to be able to see up in there. But I'm just going to go ahead and put fiberglass, short strand fiberglass in there, and just try and level it off as best I can, and just call it done, because you can't really see in there anyway. So that's going to do it for today. I'm tired. It's cold. It was like 44 out here earlier, and it's warmed up to a balmy 49. And again, I don't have a heater in the garage here, so it's pretty cold being out here. But anyway, that's going to do it for today. I'm going to wrap this up here. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you soon.